going on, everybody? We are back. It is Friday, June 15th. We've got the full 15-game slate today, and I'm pumped. Today's just a day where I'm ready to throw in a ton of lines and all sorts of different random stuff. For some reason, I've just got my batteries recharged. I think taking the day off yesterday was a little helpful. Jammed myself full of buffalo chicken quesadillas, and now I'm just ready to go today. So, Jake, how'd your Thursday go?
The Thursday was fine. Didn't win money, but other than that, it was fine. Real life DFS and everything. So, surprisingly, it is not. But this is a 15-game slate. We've done the research for you. I did the night shift, did a little preview, done some more research this morning. We got our spreadsheets loaded up and ready to go. And I like these huge Friday slates, especially now that I've been MMEing a little bit more. It's more fun to have exposure to all these guys that I want to. So I'm pretty pumped as well.
I think I've been really bad on Fridays this year.
I think I've been, just in general in DFS, I've been really good. I know in hockey, Friday was my best day. In MLB, I think it has been as well.
I looked at it this morning, and now I forgot that I looked at it today. Let me double check. Oh, no.
I think Friday's probably
the exact opposite. Friday has been, I think, my best day. Let's filter this down by MLB season.
Friday, I think a lot more casuals are playing, and we're doing research at 8 a.m. on Friday. That's more than what people are doing
wow.
For the whole day.
Here's one for you. So just for the MLB season, Friday has been my most ridiculous day by far. And, essentially the only day that I'm up of the 6 days of the week.
Yeah.
Up for the season, too. So that's how good Fridays have been. Woo, Fridays. I didn't even look at it yet. That's great.
So complete 180 from what you originally said.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I thought I saw it the opposite way, but I didn't. So let's do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to win mad monies today. I'm glad my excitement started. I've got my Suarez jersey on. I'm cheering for people to bite people in real life. It's going to be a great day. Let's just dig in. First game up, Marlins and Orioles. Oh, we're going to get right into it, too. Marlins 3.9 run implied total. Orioles 4.6. It's a 58% chance to win for the Orioles. Jose Urena going for Miami. Kevin Gausman going for Baltimore. I got 0 Urena. I got 0 Gausman. And anybody that gets more than 0% Gausman is probably just not someone you should take seriously. So, what do you think of Gausman?
I love Gausman. Everything that I look for, that I reference, is sort of checking out for him. And I don't really look at results that much for pitchers. I'll scroll through the game logs and see. A few earned runs here and there aren't really a big deal. A blow-up start here and there isn't really a big deal for me. So Gausman just looks awesome. And the matchup looks good for him as well. The Marlins have a strikeout rate over 23% with a 136 ISO over the last month against righties. And then Gausman showed some really, really good swing and miss stuff. 14+% swinging strike rate in 4 out of his last 6 starts. It's a short sample, but top 15 in whiffs per swing this month over his first few starts. And he just seems pretty safe to me. And I haven't really thought that since Caleb Joseph got sent down. But he looks like he's been pretty good with Chance Sisco lately. And that is really encouraging because the catcher splits were a big deal for him last year. And he's kind of got a little bit of a rapport with Sisco, it looks like. So I'm expecting big things out of Gausman tonight.
I didn't realize that ownership dropped at 8:30.
Oh,
so
here we go.
It's been up for a half hour, apparently.
I missed that too.
I was writing, so let me grab that while we're talking. Because I had a response to your Gaussman love, but it was going to depend on what sort of everybody else looked like from an ownership perspective around there. But if Gaussman's at like 1, then I'll probably be over the field when we get to it.
1?
Yeah, if he was at like 1%, I'd end up being over the field on Gaussman. So
if he's at where he's at right now, I mean, I will have way more than that, like 5 times that. So pitching's weird today for me. I don't see. So you've got Kluber, you've got Paxton, and then there's like no one cheap that I want to pay down for. I mean, so Godley, Gaussman, there's a few guys in that range, but then under 8K is really dicey for me. So I'm kind of sticking to this mid-tier, and Gaussman seems like one of the safest guys with both a good matchup, and I know he can be good too. So I don't know, he just sort of kind of checks everything for me.
Yeah, like I said before we came on here, Godley was the guy in that price range that I was loading up on. But I'll spread that ownership out depending on how everybody else is. So until I knew that, it wasn't a thing that I could tweak all that much. All right, so we've got ownership in now. Let's take a look at where we're at. Gaussman at, 9%. And then where is Godley? Godley at 19.
19.
Okay. So, man, it'll be... I'm way under the field on James Paxton, but we'll get to that, I guess. I'm not going to end up with much Gaussman. I'll probably force a line, but he doesn't look like a guy I'm going to get to. I don't have a problem with it. You could very easily get there. I guess I would have to redistribute a little bit of Lester's ownership to him, but I don't have a ton. I'm not that high on Lester, so I don't know where I'm gonna. I'll have to give up a little bit of Ronaldo Lopez's ownership, I assume, since I got 30. Well, no, we're projecting 26. Yeah, I'm not gonna have Gaussman. I had that all. Yeah. The whole thing just came spewing out of my mouth there.
No, that's what we do here. We work it out, kind of talk through it a little bit. It helps to get someone else's opinion, and then seeing this ownership. I mean, I'm all over Gaussman. Like, he's one of my favorites of the night. Seeing that ownership, seeing that there's going to be pitchers in his range that are going to be higher owned than him, that makes me like him even more. So, yeah, love Gaussman.
Unless I have to redistribute the 15% of the Loaiziga ownership that I have, considering or not projecting him to have any ownership.
Yeah.
Might be a little too high on him right now. Are you looking at any of the bats here? Because I think it's just sort of the Orioles, but not really.
I mean, really just Machado, and it's got to be like the perfect spot. I actually think Urena is an okay play for 6,300. I'm not going crazy with it, but he's like one of the only guys that I would consider paying down for. He can strike out righties. It's going to be a very righty-heavy lineup. And I think he's got like a 24% K rate against them. So it's just appealing. I think he's got a little bit of strikeout upside, but never a guy I'm super comfortable getting a lot of exposure to. So not really on the bats here, besides Machado.
Okay. I got a couple percentage points of Orioles guys, so they'll be in as like secondary type stacks, but nothing crazy. Shark made a point in the chat. There's no way Morton is that low. We're projecting. It has to be an error. There's no way we're projecting Charlie Morton to be 1% owned.
No, he'll be owned. I'm sure that'll get updated.
Yeah. So there's literally no way he's 1% owned. I'd be surprised if he's less than 10.
Yeah.
But it is a big slate. There are a lot of pitching options, so something I'm going to have to pay attention to. Also, Shark, thanks for the kind words on the roundtable. We're hoping people enjoy that.
Yeah, that was fun. Hope it was fun for you guys if you watched it.
One other chat point here. Brad, are you going to have an optimizer on the website soon? No comment. is the best answer that I can give you right now. Read into that how you would like. Nothing I can talk about right now.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, we don't need to keep talking about this game. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit distracted. World Cup started today, and I'm watching some Uruguay and Egypt while doing this because Mo Salah is going to be coming on shortly, I believe. And at that point, you might as well just cut this podcast off. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Okay, Rays and Yankees. Rays, 3.8 run implied total. Yankees, 5. It's a 63% chance to win for the Yanks. Nathan Eovaldi going for Tampa. Jonathan Loaisiga going for the Yankees. Yeah, obviously not a name that most people are going to be familiar with. So he's a guy that I like. I dug into him a little bit this morning when I saw him popping up in my stuff. And he's got some swing and miss in him. Can go, I don't want to say deep into the game, but deep enough that I think that he can get a couple Ks. Especially in a situation against this Rays team who I find a little hapless at the plate. It's not like they strike out a ton. I don't have any fear of them. It seems like a nice team to work your way into. So yeah, I'm gonna have them a lot. If that 1% holds that we're projecting, I'll bring my exposure down a little bit. I don't need 15% of a 1% guy, but in the 8 or 9 range, I'll be happy to be there. I'm happy to take a flyer on a guy like that.
I think Loaisiga is a fine flyer, but that's really the extent of it for me. Just because he's coming up from Double-A, only threw 49 pitches. It looks like he had pretty good swing and miss stuff. I agree. Swinging strikes look like they were there, which I always love to see, but only threw 49 pitches in his last outing, and then in the 2 before that, only 77 in each of those. So he hasn't gone a full 90 to 100 pitches in a few weeks now, and that's a little bit concerning. If he was 4K like this other guy that's coming up for Texas, he's 4,400. If he was closer to there, I think that I would like Loaisiga just because you want 5 innings out of him and a chance at the win, but you probably need a little bit more than that at 6,400. So I'd probably be going with a guy like Urena before him. But I understand the play. He's supposed to be a good prospect.
Yeah. I know from a stretched out standpoint, you want to see people going a little bit longer in minors games. I would guess that nobody just throws a ton of pitches in, if you're any sort of arm. I don't get the sense that you're going to go 110 while you're pitching in Reading in Pennsylvania or something like that.
True.
So I'm not totally if he's throwing well, I don't think they're going to pull him at 4 1/3 because he hit 75 or something.
Right. I'm just wondering what the theoretical upside for his pitch count would be. 80, 85?
I think 85 is a safe bet.
Yeah. So if I don't, and they're not going to come out and say it, but if they came out and said 85 pitches, I'd be like, okay, that I think is an okay range where I'm willing to play him, but I just don't know, and it's a huge slate, and yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be the guy that I'm jamming into everything I could find.
Yeah.
But I like being over the field on them by a significant amount. I think that's worth the flyer.
Sure. Yeah, at 1%, then absolutely.
In the surprise of all surprise, I don't get too many Yankees bats. So probably going to be super wrong about that like I normally am. Although we're not projecting a ton of Yankees ownership.
Yeah, I think the Yankees bats are fine. They're at home. Eovaldi throws a lot of fastballs, and that's bad news if you're throwing fastballs and it's not moving to Judge and Stanton and Sanchez and Bird and Gregorius at home. So I actually like the Yankees quite a bit against Eovaldi. And that run total, it'll get people's attention, but it's not like where we've seen where it's a 5.8 or 6 run total where the Yankees are going up against an absolute gas can, but Eovaldi could get blown up here, and I will have quite a few Yankees.
Yeah, I just don't get there. We're projecting them for 4% of the total ownership. So, basically right on the average.
I mean, I like playing the Yankees on big slates. But like last night, I did not like playing the Yankees. And it was really just Gleiber that killed you if you didn't have him. But
what else is new?
Yeah, honestly.
Dude, just
God, Snell was so close. Snell was so close to just being the nut pitcher, and just one mistake.
Yep.
He was walking guys, which was hard to watch, but I was watching most of that start, and like he had this one inning. I think it was the third inning where he just made all three hitters look silly, struck them all out, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's going the distance. And one bad inning, and he was done.
I think I like Stanton. Not that I'm going out on a limb there. I don't really like Judge, though. His 5,400 on DK is just so expensive.
I mean, yeah, I know. So it's going to be tough to get to the Yankees. Like I've talked about, there's not that many cheap pitching options. But if you go too mid-tier, if you go Gausman and Godley or something, I think you can make a Yankee stack work.
Yeah.
If you punt at like a second base position, if you don't put in Gleiber, or,
I mean, if you put them with the Pirates, who I like quite a bit, they're the cheapest good stack of the day. So I think that grabbing 3 Pirates, if you want to go a 5-man Yank stack, you can get there and then figure out the pitching from there.
Yeah.
That's all I got, though. Not that interesting of a game.
Not for me either.
Reds and Pirates. Now, this will be an interesting one for me, at least. We'll see where you're at on the Pirates. Reds, 4.1 run implied total. Pirates, 4.7. It's a 57% chance to win for the Pirates. Matt Harvey going for Cincinnati. Chad Kuhl going for Pittsburgh. This isn't a pitching game for me. This is the Pirates game for me. They're my number 3 stack on FanDuel, my number 1 stack on DraftKings. They're just super duper duper cheap. And I can't avoid them, especially with a 4.7 run implied total and Matt Harvey.
Right, yeah. So Matt Harvey, not a guy we are ever really scared to target against over the last couple of years. And then the Pirates just have a lot of lefties that hit righties very hard, and that sets up well when you're going up against Harvey, who's got a 5.5 xFIP, 40% hard contact, 15% K rate against lefties with a ton of fly balls. So right there, Pirates are already like looking like a good stack to me, and then you throw in their pricing, and I mean, I don't know how to get away from them. Dickerson, 3,900, Morton, 3,200. Josh Bell I like for 3,500, even down to Polanco at 37. It just makes it's such a logical way to go with the 5-run total in these prices.
Yeah. Now we're only projecting them to be the 6th most chalky stack on DK and 4th on FanDuel. So I'm way ahead on them on DK, but I'm cool with that. We might see that change a little bit. They might rise up that ownership rankings if we put out new numbers. Since we're not projecting Morton for any ownership, like paying up for Morton and taking the Pirates probably go hand in hand with the cheaper pricing. So it's possible we see them climb, but I love them. Corey Dickerson looks like one of the best plays of the day for me, especially on FanDuel. 2,800. Lefty-righty matchup, Matt Harvey, 4.7 run total. That's my dude today. I'll probably talk about him in the quick hits.
Yeah, quick hits. That's a good little plug there. So I think why isn't Austin Meadows showing up in the projected lineup? Did I miss something on him? Because I just searched him. I don't see anything coming up besides him having a home run go off his glove or something.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like a worked-in day off.
Okay. Well, if he's in the lineup, I think he's my favorite. And then I like Dickerson. I'm with you there. Probably Bell and Polanco tied after that for me.
Cervelli.
Cervelli, yep, Cervelli, Marte, they'll find their ways into some lineups for me as well.
Yeah. They just make everything super easy. Like, I don't really like Josh Harrison in general, but if he's leading off and playing second, he makes shit a lot easier.
Yep.
I wish Jordy Mercer was better or hit higher. He's not like the best shortstop option in the world, but I really like Cervelli. Colin Moran looks good for a third base option. Josh Bell's cheap for a first base option. So you can pick and choose Pirates. If you wanted the Pirates to be like, if you're going to do a 5-3 on DK, you can grab whatever you need as the 3 for the Pirates and sort of offset some of the costs of the more expensive stacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. That's
how I'll be using them. What about Cool?
What about
Oof.
Chad Cool versus the Cincinnati Bats?
I've got 3% Cool. We're projecting 2. That's I'm good there. I think that about explains it.
Yeah, not much interest for me. I can see a Barnhart or Votto if you need a first baseman or catcher, but that's really it. So I'm good to move on if you are.
Yep. And I agree with that take on Barnhart or Votto. Another nice hitting stack that made my list. Nats and Blue Jays.
Yes.
Nats 4.9 run implied total. Blue Jays 4.3. It's a 56% chance to win for the Nats. Gio Gonzalez going for Washington. Aaron Sanchez going for Toronto. I don't really like Gio all that much here. We're projecting 1% ownership, which is kind of crazy for like who he is and like, you know, what he is on like a shorter slate. But I just want Nats bats, particularly those first 6 guys. Sorry, Juan Soto, although I do like you. They're scary today. They're, like, the upside of the Nats is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm a little confused about the Gio ownership. He's always a guy that seems to get over-owned for me, and that's why I'm off of him. Just in general, I don't really play him. He seems like a little bit too highly priced and too highly owned. Most slates he's on in terms of how I have him graded out, but I thought he was going to be like over 10%, and I was just going to turn the other way. But if he's going to be one of the lowest owned pitchers on the slate, which we currently have him as, then he at least is going to be left in my pool. Like, I exclude pitchers all the time, and he's really, really great against lefties. He's average, maybe above average against righties in most of the stuff that I look at. So there aren't really bats for Toronto that I want to play against him. So that makes me think that maybe I should be playing Gio, or at least considering Gio for 8,800. But yeah, Nats bats is the main talking point here. Not playing Sanchez, the Nats lineup looks incredible how it is right now with Eaton and Murphy back. And we talked about this a couple days ago, and it didn't work out. But I'm going right back to the Nats, really 1 through 7 for me. And I'll have them in every which way against Sanchez. Sanchez has a 6.57 xFIP against lefties this year, which is ridiculously bad. 14% strikeout rate.
But at least he doesn't have to face anybody. Oh, wait, he's got to face Bryce Harper,
yeah.
Probably the best lefty in baseball.
Oh, you mean Daniel Murphy? Yeah.
Yeah, to get through Harper, Murphy, Matt Adams, Soto, Adam Eaton.
You get Soto in the 7th spot. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, like I don't love Soto all that much today because of like where he's hitting and his price, but he's still good. Like, I like him more as part of a stack than just like the holistic Juan Soto in the 7-hole type thing.
Daniel Murphy like breaks my model every time he faces a righty. Like I have to like go in and manually project him for lower points because he's just he doesn't strike out, hard contacts off the charts, ISO, all that. Like, so
you should probably
that's why
change
I love
the
him.
formula where it says if name equals Daniel Murphy, then +5, otherwise -5. You should probably take that out.
I should just have him plus 100 if just a VLOOKUP add 100 to anyone named Daniel Murphy, because that's basically what happens.
Do you like the other Murphy?
The other Murphy? Who's that?
Who's the other Murphy that's like active in baseball? David?
John Ryan?
No, well that'll work too. Do they get any trickle over just by being Murphys?
No.
Is that Murphy's
just
Law?
Daniel. Murphy's Law. Just Daniel for me.
God, I'm the worst. It's too early. I'm out of coffee too, so I need to get you on a game that has 2 pitchers so I can run downstairs and fill my coffee.
You can go whenever. Yeah, I can talk up a storm here. But yeah, the Nationals are like my number 1 stack, I think, on the day so far.
Daniel Murphy is who we're talking about. Who's the other Murphy? Not Dale Murphy. Is he on the Rangers for a while, or is that Daniel Murphy?
I don't know. I don't know that I've heard of this other
There's definitely
Murphy.
another Murphy. Is it David Murphy that I'm thinking of? Yeah. Is he not in the league anymore?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was on the Rangers for a while. He was like decent for a little bit. Yeah, 2012, he had a 3.5 win season. Yeah, when he was on Texas, he was decent. There we go. Not Chubster Murphy, assholes. Okay. Yeah, Nats are number 2 for me. Ooh, did that switch? I wrote it up wrong, I think. Nats are my number 2 stack on FanDuel. They're actually tied for the top spot with the Pirates for me on DK. Love them. Love them, love them, love them.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And we don't even have them being that highly owned as a unit. I mean, Harper and Murphy and probably Trey Turner will get some attention here, but like we mentioned, Soto, Rendon, these guys are all great plays in a stack.
We have them with the 3rd most ownership on DK.
Yeah, I think they should be the 1st most owned, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm a big fan there. God, I'm going crazy today. There's too much going on in my brain. Yeah, this isn't going to be the game where I make a coffee run. Twins and Indians. Twins, 3.1 run implied total. Indians, 4.6. It's a 67% chance to win for the Indians. Kyle Gibson going for the Jakes. Corey Kluber going for the Indians. I love Kluber. I don't care about his price point. I mean, don't get me wrong, 13,600 is healthy. 12,000 on FanDuel. It's healthy. But I'm going to have a ton of Kluber. His upside is kind of unparalleled. We're projecting 27% on DK. I've got 30. I have him right where I want to be. It's hard to not like Kluber. I assume you like him as well.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He looks great. He looks as good as he has. Kind of that peak Kluber that we saw last year. He's kind of back at that level right now. And the Twins I don't have them as being a great matchup for a righty, but this isn't your average righty. Kluber just mowing them down, it seems like, every time out. And
nobody's a good matchup for Kluber.
Yeah, right. So, like, I think Rosario is a good lefty. I think Morrison's been a disaster. Mauer back in the lineup does hurt Kluber's upside like a little bit, but that's only one hitter. Did you see they sent Sano down, by the way?
I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time coming. The Twins have some real issues, and I just see it because I followed, like, a bunch of my friends are Twins fans and stuff, so not a good time to be a fan of the Minnesota Jakes. What's that?
They sent him to single A.
I don't know. They probably just sent him there to get him some at-bats. I don't know why they would do that, but
he's Miguel Sano.
Yeah, so
he can pretty much go wherever he wants to get at-bats, but hey, I guess if you're going to go anywhere, going to hang out in Fort Myers for like 2 weeks might not be that bad.
Yeah. So Kluber's price is the only thing. I just don't know if I'll be able to fit him in as many lineups as I would like to. But I think he's the number 1 point projected pitcher on the day, neck and neck with another guy that is also going to be highly owned.
I have him miles ahead of everybody else.
Okay.
Who are you?
I don't
who
actually.
Are you putting it to?
Paxton.
I have Kluber 5.5 points clear of Paxton.
Wow. So you should be over the field and very far under the field if this ownership sticks. Then under the field on Paxton, over the field on Kluber.
Yeah.
Right?
So I have 12% Paxton, and we're projecting 34, which is giving me pause. But that 34 is not going to hold if Morton's Morton's not going to be at 1. And for Morton to get more ownership, it's got to come from somewhere. It almost has to come from Paxton. It makes me feel like Morton somehow got disregarded there. He can't be 1. He just can't.
Right.
But for him to get more ownership, it has to come from Paxton.
Correct. I think once that gets updated, I think you'll see Morton or Kluber and Paxton be closer together in ownership, and then Morton get up to 8, 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna I guess Paxton is the stand that I'm taking, where I'll be under the field. Not that I have a problem with him or anything. It's just not working out that way.
Yeah.
I don't have any bats either side of this.
Lindor and Jose Ramirez. Stolen base upside against Gibson, and then they're just awesome hitters. Gibson has been good. He's sort of earned my respect in that I don't really want to stack against him. Was playing him a little bit earlier in the year, but against lefties, he's just been pretty solid. So the Indians lineup isn't actually all that deep near the bottom. I'm sort of figuring out. So
yeah, I mean, we're projecting them just at 3% ownership, so that's average for the slate. They're 16th, so they're not a team that anybody is really on. Honestly, that makes me kind of interested in making sure I have a few lines of the top of that lineup. 4.6 total looks good. If no one's going to be really on them, it's not like anybody's going to be surprised that Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, Encarnacion, or Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, Alonso, X goes off. No one. It's not a bad play. They've got the high-end talent.
Sure. Yeah.
The Egyptian goalie.
I don't have anything. Who?
The Egyptian goalie might have broken his arm. He was just holding it in a really awkward way. Suarez probably should have scored again and didn't. Took a heavy first touch. This is also the World Cup podcast, everybody, just in case you're curious. Maybe
back to now time to talk Padres Braves.
It is, and it's another game where I don't think that we're going to be diving into too much pitching. Padres 4-run implied total, Braves 4.7. It's a 57% chance to win for the Braves. Clayton Richard going for San Diego, Brandon McCarthy going for Atlanta. I'll say this, I've got quite a bit of Brandon McCarthy, and we're projecting it too. McCarthy projected 17% ownership. I've got 14. Have you been looking at McCarthy at all?
I think just on a 15-game slate, I'm pretty comfortable passing on McCarthy, especially at that ownership. He's not someone I generally think is a good pitcher for DFS. And then, it's a good matchup, but I just don't see the upside with him. And especially at that ownership, I'd rather go with Urena or even a handful of other guys in his range. So I just don't think I can get to McCarthy with that ownership.
26% K rate for the Padres against righties this year.
I know. And everyone's going to see that, and he may even become trendier because of so many few options. But I just don't believe in him. Swinging strike rate very low, whiff rate incredibly low. He has these weird random starts, and he could have one here and score 20 and be the key to unlocking Kluber and everything else. But I don't see him having a good chance of doing that. What about Richard for you? Probably not, right?
goose egg. I assume we're not projecting him for anything. Nope. Yeah, so he's not a guy I'm looking to. Not really on any of the bats here either. I don't get to the Braves, really. Surprise, surprise. We're not projecting any ownership to the Braves. They're 13th. So if you're getting to them, they're nothing more than a secondary stack, in my opinion.
I like the Braves. Really the top 5. So Flowers is one of my favorite catchers on the slate. 3,100 is a really good price for him against the lefty. And then Richard just giving up a lot of hard contact, struggles with righty power. He's one of the better pitchers against lefties, so it's hard for me to get to Freddie Freeman at 5,700, but if I'm stacking, and Markakis too for 4,100, but if I'm stacking the Braves, it'll probably be a 4-man stack with Swanson, Albies, Flowers, and then one of Freeman or Markakis. I don't want to take multiple lefties against Richard. The numbers just kind of say it's a bad idea.
I would just go Albies, Swansea, Markakis, or Albies, Swansea, Flowers, and then find a 5-man to go with it.
Yeah, you could do that too. I think those are my 3 favorite plays by far, and then the lefties are secondary.
I get to a little bit more Padres because of their price point. Not exactly a team that I'm excited about, but if Brandon McCarthy is going to be 17% owned, I'm perfectly fine having a little bit of Padres on the opposite side of it.
It would probably just be Hosmer for me, but he's 4,500. Maybe Spangenberg, 3,500 dual position if you need a one-off.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is probably a little bit more on FanDuel. Like Jankowski's 2,600, Perella 2,400, Renfroe 2,700, Spangenberg 2,700, Freddie Galvis 2,400. So they become just like a really cheap option if you wanted to try to fade McCarthy ownership. Grab a 4-man Padres stack with a chalk other stack and someone decent pitching from FanDuel, I think is an interesting, slightly contrarian line that nobody's going to give a shit about because they're the Padres.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's a plus EV move.
All right, this one we're going to have a lot to talk about here, but it's not about pitching. It's definitely hitting. Rockies, 5.3 run implied total. Rangers, 5.3 run implied total. We're looking at a coin flip. Chad Bettis going for Colorado. Yohander Mendez going for Texas, obviously. I don't get to either of these pitchers. If you add them together, you only get to 9,900. Would you rather have Chad Bettis and Mendez or Ross Stripling? Let's say you get an extra roster spot. You could have both pitchers in this game or just Stripling. What would you take?
Just Stripling.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I don't even like Stripling, but I don't think he's going negative here, and I could see one or both of these guys going negative. And so, I don't know. Who are your favorite bats? Like, if you had to choose one side, would you be on more the Rockies side or Rangers side?
So, Rockies are my number 1 stack on FanDuel, number 2 on DK. Rangers are number 4 on FanDuel, number 3 on DK. So
Rockies by a little bit.
A lot. We're projecting just slightly more ownership to the Rangers on both sites, and I have a little bit more to the Rockies. So for me, I would prefer the Rockies. Getting Mendez coming in to make this start as a lefty. So LeMahieu, Arenado, Story, Desmond, these are guys that I'm going to smash. Chris Iannetta, I'm sure, is like one of your favorite things for today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the Rockies side more.
I think I'm with you. I think I just believe a little bit more in the Rockies bats. They're not as likely to screw you with like striking out in big spots, especially against a lefty if Mendez is in the game for a while. Whereas like you've got Gallo and Chirinos and Odor, and you can see Bettis, even a very, very average, below average pitcher, getting out of jams because these guys wave and miss so much. At least that's like kind of why I'm leaning towards the Rocky side, which may not be the best reason, but and also Arenado and Story, I think, make for such good plays. They're really hard to avoid at their prices. Blackman for 5,200 is a fine price. He can hit lefties, has hit lefties his whole career. And then I liked when they were doing the thing where they had Inetta batting second against lefties. If they somehow do that again here, he'll be probably my highest owned catcher. But even if he's batting eighth, like he'll still be lower owned than he should be, I think. So, yeah, you got that. You nailed that. He's one of my favorite catchers on the day. And then the Texas bats, I think, are fine as well. Mazzara, Beltre, Gallo, and then maybe Odor, but I don't like 3,500 for him batting eighth. He's such a boomer bust.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably good, though, in a GPP. He's 2,300 on FanDuel, so I'll get a lot of Odor as a second base option there. I like Gallo quite a bit. Chu and Mazzara, obviously. I mean, I like everybody if I'm going to be getting that much of them. We're projecting them to be chalky. Rangers and Rockies are 1-2 stacks on both sites. So this is the chalk game. This is the chalk stacks. This is anywhere chalk exists, it's in this game. I thought it was in Colorado for a second when I saw the implied total.
It's pretty close. When it's 95 degrees in Texas, that's about as close to Coors Field as you can get.
Yeah. Is there anybody we're projecting with like weird low ownership here?
I don't see it.
Cargo 1%, but I get that.
Rockies, Rangers.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Look, I like them. I'm gonna use them a lot. I understand why they're chalky. I'll be there. I'll probably mute their ownership a little bit. I don't want to be way ahead of the field. Not on a slate like today.
Yeah.
I'll make that up in other places. But they look good. If anybody says they don't, they're probably crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and I skipped over Shin-Soo Choo. I like him quite a bit as well. So just wanted to mention that.
I'm with you there. Leading off.
Yeah.
Looks great.
I always forget about him because I like that middle of the order. I always forget to mention him, but
can't forget about
I like Choo a lot. Yeah.
Ooh, what a save. What a save. Sorry. Just big shot from Cavani. Phillies, 3.9 run implied total. Brewers, 4.6. It's a 57% chance to win for the Brewers. Jake Arrieta going for Philadelphia. Brent Suter going for Milwaukee. This isn't a pitching game for me either. We have Arrieta projected for 6%, and I've got 0. Suter projected for 8. I've got 3. So I'm underweight of this game from a pitching perspective. Are you looking at it?
No pitchers for me. This one is actually pretty easy for me. Just like cherry picking a couple of hitters. So Arrieta is only giving up 24% hard contact on the year, which is pretty impressive. Even though I don't think he has been impressive, that strikes me as something that maybe I don't want to stack against him with the Brewers. But Yelich and Shaw, anytime they're against righties, will be 2 guys I'll consider and at low ownership as well. And then Suter, kind of annoying. I was talking about him on the night shift a little bit. Not a lot of hard contact. He strikes righties out sometimes. And I don't know. I mean, Hoskins, sure. Santana, and then Altherr is just underpriced for 3,300 against the lefty.
Yeah, I'm not going to get to much Phillies. Maybe 1 or 2 lines. We're projecting below average ownership. They're both in the bottom tier. So if you want to go to Phillies or Brewers, it won't take much to be over top of the field here. They grade out okay. It's just they're not. I don't know. The Brewers look fine on FanDuel. They just don't have the best positional breakdown. Crappy second baseman, crappy shortstop. A lot of talent in the outfield, so it makes it harder to stack.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm ready to move on. I don't have much.
I want this one to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Tigers and White Sox. God damn. Well, I'm going to have to talk here. Tigers, 4-run implied total. White Sox, 4.5. It's a 55% chance to win for the White Sox. Mike Fiers going for Detroit. Ronaldo Lopez going for Chicago. And Ronaldo Lopez is my dude today. I got a massive amount of him. Originally, I was a little nervous about it, and then I saw our ownership projections. Our ownership projections are right with me. So today is the day. If you've been waiting to roster Ronaldo Lopez, you have found the perfect opportunity because he looks pretty nice.
Dude, I don't see it. I've tried to, and I don't see it with Ronaldo Lopez. Overall, almost 4 walks per 9 this year.
Yep.
Under 17% strikeout rate. 9% swinging strike rate is actually okay based on those other numbers. Does not get chases. 25% O swing percentage. I just don't think he's a good pitcher. And at that ownership, I would probably have 0. And maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe he's a different pitcher. I haven't dug into his last few games or anything, but those season numbers look terrible to me. So he's going to be the chalk. Same thing with McCarthy. I don't believe in them as pitchers, so I'm not going to play them as chalk on a 15-game slate.
I'm going to do it. No Miguel Cabrera in that Tigers lineup is obviously incredibly helpful.
Sure.
Morton strikes out above average. Castellanos above average. Candelario above average. McCann above average. Hicks way above average. Jacoby Jones pretty much only strikes out. So I think that he could really pile them up if things break the right way here. 4-run implied total, not scary. Sub 400 slugging against righties, that's bad. 85 weighted runs created plus, that's bad. I think the Tigers, I think this is more of a play against the Tigers than it is a play for Ronaldo Lopez.
Sure.
And you're 30 plus seconds ahead of my stream, so zip it.
Leonis Martin actually comes up really high for me on my hitter model thing here. He's only striking out under 20% of the time against righties this year. 208 ISO, 365 WOBA, and then 42% hard contact. So I've got him projected for around 10 DK points, and he's going to be the guy that I leverage against Lopez with quite a bit. So something just happened.
Off the post. Drew N called it. I swear to God, Drew N just said they scored. If they score in 20 seconds, I'm banning Drew N from the chat.
So anyways, I like Leonis Martin quite a bit. I like Candelario and then Castellanos. So those top 3, I think I can get to a little bit of a leverage stack against Ronaldo Lopez. Yeah, I just don't believe in him. I actually don't mind some Detroit bats. And then Fiers on the other side, he's just someone we can easily stack against. Hard contact, fly balls to both hands. We don't see anything special in the xFIP. And I thought the White Sox were going to be lower owned than what they're showing, but Moncada, Abreu, Upalka, Davidson, and then there's a huge drop off after that. So I'm probably cutting it off after the top 5 with my White Sox stack.
Ooh, is that Jimenez? Yeah. Uruguay going nuts on that header. Thanks for ruining that for me, Drew, and greatly appreciated the ruining of the team that I'm cheering for right now. Yeah, White Sox are 6th most. Here's the interesting one that I need to talk about. We're projecting the Tigers with 2% ownership on DK. I've got 7. They are one of the teams that I'm highest on. So you mentioned Leonis Martin being high for you. I've got him a decent amount. I like Castellanos, Candelario, V-Mart, James McCann. So in all of those lineups where I don't have Ronaldo Lopez, there's a decent chance I'm going to have some Detroit Tigers. They are shockingly high for me today, and I honestly I don't understand why.
Yeah, I'm not dying on the Ronaldo Lopez hill. not at chalk. So he'll probably be. I'll dig into him a little bit more throughout the day, and I'll pop in on chat if I change my mind on him for some reason. But right now, he's going to be a guy that will be excluded from my player pool. So, yeah.
Crazy, man. Crazy. What a weird game. I don't mean the soccer game. I mean this Tigers-White Sox game. I'm all over like the weirdest parts of this stuff. It was Jimenez. I have Jimenez in that contest, so that's a pretty big goal for a defenseman.
I've got a bunch of Jimenez as well. I think I got 3 out of my... I'm definitely over the field on Jimenez, so I'm excited that he scored. Who got the assist?
I don't know. Whoever took the free kick.
Ooh, I actually have some good-looking lineups. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
World Cup, right. My thing. Got to make sure my guys are starting though. The rest of my guys.
I mean, without getting, five. I can't do anything if Suarez and Cavani don't score. So.
Oh.
And plenty of people are going to have Ronaldo and other strikers in those later games, so it's not really going to matter for me. But glad I had Jimenez. That's my dude.
I got a lot of the Uruguay goalie as well. So.
Jimenez is a guy that, like, he's one of the first young defenders I sign in Football Manager almost every time I start a season. All right, let's move on. Astros and Royals. Astros 5.3 run implied total. Royals 3.7. It's a 66% chance to win for the Astros. Charlie Morton going for Houston. Jacob Junis going for Kansas City. I don't really know how we're going to talk about this right now. We've got Charlie Morton projected for 1% ownership, which by all accounts has to be a mistake. I wouldn't understand how it would be one. I've got him 24% on FanDuel, 22% on DK. That is where I'm going to keep him. I think he's the second best pitching option of the day from a ceiling perspective. So... I like him. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. This one's actually pretty easy for me, so I'll be quick. So just pay attention to Morton's ownership. If he's going to be significantly lower owned than Paxton and Kluber, there's a case to be made for him as a very good GPP play, just because he's got crazy strikeout stuff, and he's shown that. The thing I am concerned about is his swinging strike rate has been on the decline lately. Velocity looks okay, but just not missing as many bats. Kind of since Trevor Bauer called out all the Astros, they just sort of all their pitchers are not pitching as well as they were, which is kind of funny. It's just probably a coincidence, but or maybe they were cheating. Who knows? And then Junis he grades out as an okay pitcher for me as far as missing bats, but not getting the results. And then huge total for the Astros, wind blowing out, 90-plus degrees in Kansas City. It's just going to be bad news for Junis, I think, here. So Astros bats, I love. I mean, and you know who I'm talking about. It's really
Tony
1
Kemp.
through 7.
Just I'll
play Kemp. I don't like that he's 3,500, but I think he's fine.
I like the Astros. 5th on FanDuel, 4th on DK. Let's see where we have them as the 4th most owned stack on DraftKings, so I'm right there with the field. Hard not to like them. I'm not super scared of Junis. 5.3 run implied total. One of 3 teams at that spot today. Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa. Why not? Altuve at 5,000 is tough, but he's still amazing. Give me Gurriel, give me Josh Reddick, give me Evan Gattis, who just can't stop raking, apparently. Gattis.
Yeah, Gattis has been...
I want to see what his line is on the year right now.
I think he started off pretty rough, but now he looks awesome.
All right, Gattis. 119 weighted runs created plus, 245, 305, 495. So I think he's just heating up big time.
Yeah.
Just hitting the ball pretty hard.
Yep.
I don't get any Royals bats. I assume you're in the same boat.
Nope.
Cubs and Cardinals. Weird game. 4.2 run implied total for the Cubs. 4 run implied total for the Cardinals. John Lester for Chicago. Michael Wacha for St. Louis. I get Lester because I always get Lester. We've got him at 6%, I believe. Yeah. I've got 12. That's the cap of where I'll be. And I don't get any Michael Wacha, but like I like these two guys. They're both decent. I don't know. They're just like Walker's a little overpriced. Lester's probably a little overpriced. And this game is just a game. I don't get to the hitters. I want this to stay as quiet as it can.
I actually get to some of the hitters, and that's not surprising. I stack against Lester more than most people probably. Specifically Pham and Bader because of their stolen base upside against Lester. And I can get to Molina against pretty much any lefty. Same with Ozuna, same with Jerko. So I'll have some full Cardinals stacks. It's really good hitting weather, and Lester is not someone that I respect that much. He's not someone that I'm going to intentionally not stack against. So let's see here. Chicago bats against Wacha are fine, but mostly Contreras and Chris Bryant, just discounted prices, and same with Rizzo too. But that's about it.
Yeah, we've got Cubs and Cardinals basically unowned tonight. 1%. Cardinals and Cubs are in like the bottom 8 teams, so it makes me feel good that I don't really get to them at all. You'll never hear me complain about a Cubs stack with their main hitters, but I'm hoping I just end up with less Lester, and I can pay attention to this game 0% tonight.
Less Lester. Nice. I think no Lester is probably the way to go, just in general. That guy, he's so tilting to watch, man.
I like it.
Oh, God.
Maybe if you were a Cubs fan and not a Twins fan, you would like Lester more.
I know. True.
That's probably the issue.
I think that's the issue.
Angels and A's. Angels 4.3 run implied total. A's 4.0. It's a 52% chance to win for the Angels. I don't have a Angels bat in there, which is interesting. Tyler Skaggs going for the Angels. Chris Bassett going for Oakland. These aren't guys that I'm going to have. We're projecting 6% ownership for Skaggs. I have 9, so I guess I am looking at Skaggs a little bit. Bassett, not so much. I only have 2%, although he's projected for 5. Do you like these guys? They're in a weird area where they appear to be getting more roster than I would want.
I'm not crazy about the bats here, specifically, and not the Oakland bats. I think Pinder is okay if he's batting second like he has against lefties sometimes this year, but that's really about it. I actually like Skaggs a little bit. So the A's really struggle against lefties. 89 WRC plus, under 300 on base percentage, 24% K rate for the season. And then if you sort by the last month, they've been trending downward. So 65 WRC plus, 263 on base percentage, 24.6% K rate. And then Skaggs has been fine against righties. He walks them more, but that's normal for his splits. And he's striking them out at a 24% clip. And if you just go individually by the A's strikeout rates, you've got Chris Davis, 29%, Olsen, 25%, Chapman, 26%, Kana, 23%, Semien, 23%, Pinder, 30%. And these are against left-handed pitching. So just seems like Skaggs has quite a bit of upside here, and he's probably a little overpriced, but I think it is a fair price for this matchup, and enough that people won't be on him.
Do I have this jacked up again? I thought I fixed this problem.
What problem?
The Jose Miguel Fernandez problem.
I'll talk about. Well, I don't know much about Bassett. I just know he had a fine start against KC. But I'm sort of cooling off on the Angels as a team against righties, especially. So, I mean, Valbuena is always in play for me. Trout is always in play for me. And Valbuena is only 3,100, so he's a fine one-off. But I don't think I'm going all-out stack against Bassett.
We're going to have a conversation quickly once I correct this because I'm going nuts on the Angels today. And we're not projecting.
Really?
Yeah, we're not projecting it either, so I want to...
All right, so
I got to get my ducks in a row here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll fix this guy later. It's not important. So, we are projecting the Angels to be 3% owned, which is essentially average. They are 9th in ownership on DK, and I've got them 9%. It's the second biggest, well, tied for second biggest gap, them and the Pirates. So the Angels are a team that I'm looking at pretty heavily. Again, they're cheap, so they become a stack that I'll use to fit in more expensive pitchers. So I'm getting a lot of Kinsler, Trout, Upton, Pujols, Valbuena.
Okay.
And like I'm cool with it, I guess. I would have liked to see a higher implied total, but I think Kinsler's pretty cheap for a $3,800 second baseman. Jay up for $4,400 is fine by me. Valbuena makes it a little easier having the dual eligibility. Yeah, I'm gonna be making my bed with some Angels tonight, hoping that they end up popping a little bit and I can get the benefit of that ownership.
Yeah, making the bed with the Angels sounds good to me. But I'll probably just go Valbuena, Trout. I don't know. I'm not crazy about the stack.
Yeah, I would have said that I wasn't either. I didn't expect that to happen, but
gotta listen to the numbers.
I do. I'll probably dial that ownership back a little bit. I don't see the need to be 3 times the field. I could probably knock that back to 2 and be super happy about it. That's where we're at right now. Alrighty, Mets and Diamondbacks. I'm excited for this one too. Mets 3.9 run implied total. Diamondbacks 4.5. It's a 57% chance to win for the D-backs. Seth Lugo going for New York. Zach Godley going for Arizona. I love Godley. I don't normally love Godley, but today's the day. We're projecting 19% ownership. I've got 23 right now, so I'm a little bit ahead of the field. I think he's in a really, really nice spot, especially at that $8,100 price point. Godley's a guy that I'm going to have quite a bit today. Where do you land on your normal Godley love?
God, I'm just so second-guessing myself with Godley these days just because he does, like, the walks have been an issue. And like he seems like he can't throw strikes at times. And then he goes out in Coors Field and has a really good start, 8 strikeouts and 5 2/3, and that's just kind of what he does. If he's got it, you're just not hitting him. And if you're willing to chase, he's really going to hurt you. So, like you see the huge swinging strike numbers in some of his starts, and he could do that again here. I think he strikes out more lefties than righties. I think that was the case last year, but I'm going to double check that. So the lefties aren't that big of a concern for me, but the Mets aren't striking out very much against right-handed pitching for the year. And then last month, they're bottom 5 in strikeout percentage. Their WRC plus is 89, so it's a fine matchup for Godley. And you guys are probably sick of me recommending him if you've been listening to us all year, but I'll have quite a bit of Godley once again. And he's striking out more righties than lefties, so I was wrong on that. But I just thought maybe because of his splitter, or not splitter, his curve that he throws, that he was striking out more lefties, getting them to swing over the top of it.
Yeah, the Mets are bad, but I don't know what to make of them. I don't like Conforto as much as I liked him yesterday, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you face Godley.
So, and Godley, just to add to Godley, so he's made only 2 starts in June, but he is 3rd in the MLB for the starts that Baseball Prospectus has listed on here. 3rd in the MLB in whiffs per swing rate in June for any player that's thrown 100 pitches, right behind Scherzer and John Gray. So,
wow.
I don't know. Maybe he has reverted back to like his middle of 2017 form. I haven't seen enough of a sample to make that declaration yet, but I think he's a fine play.
Okay. Yeah, I love him. Bats, I'm indifferent. I'll have a little bit of Mets. That's about it.
I will have a little bit of Diamondbacks, Descalso, Peralta, and Lamb. But Lugo actually grades out okay for me, so I'm not super crazy about the Arizona Bats.
No Goldschmidt today? Oh, wait, there he is, second. For some reason, I couldn't see his, it just wasn't showing up for me in my head.
No, I'll have some Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
Especially like a 4-man Arizona stack. Goldschmidt is scorching hot right now.
Told you, people. I told you it was coming.
Weren't we recommending him every day and people were getting mad and he was lining out 4 times a night? And
yeah, you keep taking him and then losing the money and then, we can't all do that. I told you. Nobody listens.
Gotta listen to the numbers, man. Average exit velocity, hard hit percentage. Stuff matters over the long run.
People are going to get on that train late. I wanted to be on that train the entire time. And guess what?
Right.
We're both in the front car today, baby.
Yes.
Giants and Dodgers. 2 games left. Giants 3-run implied total, which is putrid. Dodgers 4.5. 66% chance to win for the Dodgers. Derek Holland for San Francisco. Ross Stripling for LA. It's all Stripling here. We're projecting 20% ownership. I've got 24. I'm totally cool with a bunch of Ross Stripling. 9,800 is expensive, man. For him to be the 4th most expensive pitcher on the day, that's kind of shocking to me. But it's not going to change anything. The Giants just lowest implied total of the slate, and that's, I assume, mostly because of Stripling. I love him. I'm going Stripling.
Christ, not the told you so BS. I'm just reading the chat right now. Hindsight is always 2020. So I actually don't like Stripling that much. I get the low total and stuff for the Giants, but he's just overpriced. He's not a 10K pitcher just yet. He's probably pretty safe. So if you don't believe in Paxton or Godley or Gaussman, and you can afford him, then sure. But I don't think I'll get to much Stripling. I like Turner, Kemp, Taylor, Barnes for the Dodgers against Derek Holland. Just not good against right-handed hitting. So I'll be stacking up some Dodgers with this near 5-run total.
Yeah, they're my 7th most owned stack. I'm way ahead of the field on the Dodgers. They're another team that I'm hoping I'm huge on, so that works for me.
Sure.
Taylor, Turner, Kemp, Kike. Basically everybody but Logan Forsythe. Not that I'm a big Austin Barnes guy, but catcher's kind of different. There's just so many dual eligibility guys.
Yeah.
They've got 5
super easy to
dudes
stack.
that play 2 separate positions.
Yeah.
Especially with Chris Taylor having the outfield shortstop one, which is just kind of insane.
That's nice.
No Giants bats, obviously. That's going to be a hard sell for me. Joe in the chat, Goldie K rate up 8%. That's the only issue. Yeah, that's not an issue to me. I don't care about the K rate of a hitter. I don't lose points for it. Outs are outs.
Yeah.
I don't care how he gets out.
Did you see what someone just tweeted us?
No, but this should be good.
Tried finding an interview with Dan Le Batard you guys were talking about, but I couldn't find it. were we talking about an interview with Dan Levitard? I listen to that show every single day. And
I don't listen to Dan Levitard at all, and I've never talked about Dan Levitard.
yeah, did we talk
I'll
about
say this. The guy that's tweeting that is like a very coherent person. He and I have interacted on Twitter. He like basically rebuilt my NBA model on his own just from like screenshots of my sheets.
I don't remember talking about that on the show yesterday.
Did you talk about it in the live show or in the roundtable?
I remember mentioning his name. I'm trying to remember the context, but I'll respond to him on Twitter. I just thought you maybe could jog my memory.
If you did, I wasn't listening to you. I don't remember talking about Levitard at all. I don't know what the context would be.
Maybe he's referring to that Condia interview. It could be.
Did Condia talk to Dan Levitard?
No. Condia talked to Adam Levitan. Levitan, that's what he's talking about.
Yep.
Levitan.
There you go. That makes way more sense. Yeah, He's not going to find the Dan Levitard version of that. That shit doesn't exist.
I was like, okay, Levitard. What was I talking about him? Because I mean, that's like my favorite radio show. I love Levitard.
Yeah.
Mindless stuff. But
I was racking my brain there. Yeah. Scott, on the off chance you're watching this, it's Adam Levitan.
I'll link it to him after.
There you go. Final game. Red Sox and Mariners. Red Sox 3.4 run implied total. Mariners 3.8. It's a 56% chance to win for the Mariners. Rick Porcello going for Boston. James Paxton going for Seattle. I don't really know how to talk about this right now because, again, I think that our ownership projections are off. We're projecting crazy high ownership to Paxton, 34%, chalkiest pitcher of the night. I only have 12%. I think that it'll look way more sane once that comes down and Morton goes back up. I like Paxton here, but I am not trying to have a ton of anyone going against the Boston lineup. I don't care how Boston hits against lefties.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, so we're almost midway through the season is kind of what I wrote in the spotlight pitchers, and that's why I wrote up Paxton. And Boston's numbers are still really bad against lefties. 24% strikeout rate, 301 on base percentage, 143 ISO only. And it's probably due to the bottom of that lineup. The bottom of that lineup is not all that enticing. Devers against the lefty is lost. Nunez, we've talked about him at length. Sandy Leone, Jackie Bradley, that's lefty-lefty. So a balanced lineup like this for Paxton, he's at home. The total is actually dropping since last night. He misses bats with the best of them. So those first few hitters are tough, but, well, not Benintendi. There's no reason you should be scared of Benintendi, lefty-lefty. Even though he donged last time I said that, but
I was gonna say, didn't he just do
first,
that?
He did it. Yeah, he did. Like, I don't know, 12.5% hard hit rate for Benintendi against lefties this year. 27% K rate. On base percentage is fine. His ISO is way higher than it should be. He's got a 224 ISO, but 12.5% hard hit rate. So that's kind of mind blowing. But like Moreland is okay against lefties, but Paxton's just really good, and it's mostly a play about Paxton, and the numbers for the Red Sox against lefties sort of back that up. So yeah. I'm in for Paxton. I thought he would be low owned, and I was not expecting this kind of ownership. I don't think at low stakes he will be anywhere near 34%, but at mid and upper stakes I think he might be.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have him. I like the 12% that I have. I think that's a pretty nice spot. I also like having 22% Charlie Morton, so I'm spread out on those top guys. Joe in the chat, how much stock do you guys put in overall lineup? I don't have a clue what that means.
You gotta give us something more specific. I think he means team number. Like, so I refer to like the team number against left-handed pitching or something like that. So I put a decent amount of stock in that. you sort of have to weigh in, like, okay, so let's say, let's see, like, so if the Yankees, if they didn't have Judge and Sanchez in the lineup for a month, then you wouldn't want to weigh their like last month's numbers against lefties because they'd be a lot worse. So you just you have to pay attention to injuries, kind of weigh that in. Like if the lineup looks like how it has for most of the season, if you're looking at a short sample, but like if the bottom of the lineup is trash.
Angels. I'll just hop to the Angels to make this easier. Fucking fix this.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how many times do we have to type our question? I'll just copy paste. What is he? All right. Are you reading the chat as well right now?
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
I don't know what the question is.
Neither do I. Hey, Josh and Jake, how do you put like a certain percent when you say I'll have like 10% of this team or a player when mass entering? I think that's just using whichever lineup optimizer you choose to use.
Yeah.
There's a handful of them. There's some better than others, I think.
I have Fantasy Cruncher up, so
yeah. So you can. I really want to get better at mass entering, like 150, but never did it. With that being said, how do you put like a certain percent?
So you can set exposures manually for individual people. I've got everybody here for 30. That's what I do for my first crunch. I'll manually adjust people throughout the day once I look at our ownership numbers. So like if I see that we have somebody at 5% and I'm getting 20, I'll probably roll that back a little bit. But you can manually adjust people's exposures is how to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. Do you want to look at some crunches?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, give me two pitchers.
Let's try Gausman, Godley, my two 2017 boys that I loved.
Oh yeah, I don't have any Gausman. I need to like fucking lock him on purpose. I was like, man, I can't even find the first guy. It's because he's not there.
Are you frozen on my screen? I think you might be frozen.
I don't know, am I?
You're frozen on my Skype, but not on YouTube where I've got the stream. Interesting. That's fine. I'll just listen to you.
I see it updating on Skype in the preview window.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway. I'm locking Gausman. So who did you give me?
Okay. Gausman, Godley.
Okay. Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's do 20 lines of that. $16, $17, $18, $19, $20. Can you see my screen yet?
I cannot. It's frozen on Skype, so I can watch on delay right here.
Here, here's what
we'll be it.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And now I'll try sharing it again. Try that out.
All right, black screen. Here we go. Got it.
All right. So first one up is going to be a 5-man Rockies with a 3-man Nats. Good God.
That's pretty good. So this is going to be a popular pairing for me. I'm sure it will be somewhat popular for people in general.
Nats and Pirates. You get Cervelli and Dickerson. I love that.
Anything that starts with Nats is speaking my language, so.
Astros and Rockies, I think, looks great.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, this is why... this is a perfect example of why it's really interesting to play multiple lineups. Because right here, we've got a lineup with Gausman and Godley, 5 Nats, and 3 Pirates. Right here we have a lineup, Gaussman and Godley, 5 Astros, 3 Rockies. 4 different teams in the hitters, projected for within 0.2 fantasy points of themselves. 2 wildly different lineups.
Yeah.
No tie to each other whatsoever besides the pitchers. And you can get to the exact same projected score. Like, it's...
Yeah. Looks good.
It's really hard to dial into one line when you can make 2 lines that are identical and have only 2 of the 9 guys the same, 10 guys the same.
It can be done, but I think this is it's easier on the mind, I think, to make a handful of lineups or 150 lineups if you can do it in a tournament that you're comfortable playing in. So I tweeted Scott back with the interview.
We need to have a conversation with Chris Hernandez here. I always get screwed with players being out when having a lot of lineups. Like Didi last night, I had so many lineups and 2 of them had Didi, and they were my best lineups that I got a 0 from. Dude, stop playing people that aren't playing.
Wait, what?
Did Didi Gregorius not play last night?
Let's see.
Am I reading this correctly? Yeah,
he was not in the lineup.
Yeah, so take him out.
Well,
was it a late scratch?
I don't know. Don't most optimizers just automatically take them out?
I mean, it depends when you put your lineup in.
So if you refresh your optimizer and you run it at 6:30 Eastern or whatever, when most of the lineups are out, they'll have everything updated. I know the ones that I've tried do that.
Yeah, or look, I'm going to be really mean here, but like you got to pay more attention.
I had him in the lineups before. I had him in the lineups before the lineups came out. Well, you got to check back. I mean,
yeah, you are the only person to blame in this scenario.
We mentioned the Roto Grinders Chrome extensions. If you use Google Chrome, you should be using Google Chrome just to have that extension. So you can go on the My Lineups page and they have like check marks next to guys that are playing, and they'll have like a little like circle with a line through it if the guy is not in the starting lineup. I'll
play 300 lines on FanDuel on a certain day. That'll never happen unless there's a late scratch. You just got to pay more attention. It's cold hard truth.
Yeah. I don't know.
You seriously need to pay attention from 5:30 to 7 o'clock, and not even that.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But like, just do more work. You're not doing enough for yourself.
Just even if you have 150, you can scroll through if you have that extension.
Yeah.
You scroll through, and you'll be able to tell pretty quickly if someone's not in the lineup. It takes 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah. Yeah, the only way that should happen is if a guy gets scratched at 7:08.
So watch the live stream, and you'll see if people are scratched or there's any surprising lineups that come out late.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't put in lines at noon and hope for the best, or you're gonna get pinched.
Yeah.
I do want to take a quick look at a Kluber lineup and see how high of an expensive pitcher you can get with him.
Yeah, let's try that.
I probably put in more work than you, Josh.
What?
Fuck, man, this is my job. It's the only thing I work. It's literally all of the work that happens in my life at this point. All right, so Kluber. Can you do Kluber Stripling? That's probably too high, right? Like, Kluber Godley is the play for me, but that's going to be chalky.
What are people saying in the chat? I don't get the conversation going on in the chat. I'm just getting distracted, but seems like a okay time to wind down the stream.
Yeah, I guess I don't want to look at Kluber anymore. Somehow we're wrong in this conversation.
So Kluber, Lopez, okay. Kluber, McCarthy. That's the problem with Kluber for me. So I don't know. I'll probably end up with less Kluber than I would like to in a perfect world, but oh god. Okay.
No one acts like what?
I don't know.
You're asking me how to replace guys in your lineup that aren't playing, and you know that information 2 hours before 7 o'clock. I can't help you any further there. Just take them out.
Dang. 49.
Ooh, okay. On FanDuel, while using Fantasy Cruncher, do you set player exposure to 0, then put in your own, or do you have a baseline number that you use? It depends on the size of the slate. Obviously, you need to have a higher exposure number on individual guys when there's less games, because you just have to spread out ownership a bit more. On a 15-game slate, you probably want to have someone in I'm usually in the 20 to 25 range for a hitter. I don't see going too much over that unless someone is mispriced. Was it Correa a couple days ago was 2,700 on FanDuel? Those are guys that I might go a little bit higher on, but no, I don't know. I wouldn't set it to 0. Baseball, every sport is different too. You can have guys in the NBA and have them 80% owned, and that's the correct play. I don't like having hitters too highly owned because they're too variable.
Yeah. So I think I have a little bit of a different approach. Yeah. I think I just am more risk-taking in my hitters, which are very volatile, and I wouldn't if you're not, and I'll have 50% of some guys on big slates where I know maybe that's not the most optimal play, but if I feel really good about a hitter and I have 150 lineups, I'll go up to 50%. Which is risky. I mean, anytime you have a hitter, they have 4 or 5 at bats to get it done, and you'll get 0 for 4s, and it'll suck when you've got a 0 in 50% of your lineups for a hitter. But like Daniel Murphy, for example, he's a guy that I would go very hard on last year against a bad righty, just because I wanted to be over the field substantially, and I just felt so good about his chances of hitting the ball very, very hard. So
yeah,
it just depends on your risk tolerance and sort of each slate for me.
Drew N. Every time you ask this damn Spain midfielder question, I go to the line and show you the damn midfielder. Pay more attention. Go back and watch the video. Every time you've asked that question, I just hop back to this, run my mouse over his name, let it sit for a couple seconds, and then bounce back out of there.
I got a bunch of players that aren't playing for Morocco, so this will be interesting in the next half hour to try to get some guys in that are actually playing.
Yeah, you'll be surprised to know I don't have a ton of information on Moroccan midfielders and such. So, well, you asked me for who I have in the midfield for the Spain game. I don't have a Spanish midfielder, so the answer is nobody. Then I gave you the right answer by telling you nothing. Oh, Drew, and you and I. All right, everybody, we're gonna get out of here because this has obviously gone way too long. Like and subscribe. Check out all the new stuff we're doing. I dropped the quick hits yesterday. We're going to do those Monday to Friday sometime in the mid-afternoon. We put out a roundtable discussion this morning of myself, Jake, Chris, and Alex. A 45-plus minute chat just talking about our background, and Alex going into some more high-level DFS stuff. Definitely check that shit out because it was really fun. Picking his brain is I'm being able to do that is really cool. To know that you're talking to the best that does it. It's kind of weird sometimes.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pay attention to Playline, playline.com/r/Osimo. We've got an Osimo.com branded contest going today, trying to pick the performance of 3 starting pitchers. I'm going to put out an article in the next probably hour or two, give people a little bit of assistance there. And then come back for the live stream tonight, 6 o'clock, myself and Chris Spags, where I'll probably pick another home run correctly. I picked 2 of them yesterday, and I don't get credit for either of them, so.
Chris stole yours.
Yeah. Apparently Chris watched my quick hits video where I recommended Goldschmidt and hopped on my coattails.
Yeah.
Alrighty, everybody. Best of luck tonight. Have a good weekend, and we will talk to you again Monday morning.